If there ever was a great story of American dream coming to life, this is it. And if you want to understand the might of American soft power, the reason why United States is considered the greatest country in the world, this is the story. And all of it didn't start in a skyscraper or in a boardroom. In fact, it all started when Phil Knight started selling sports shoes from the back of his trunk at college track meets back in 1964. And yes, I'm talking about Nike. Now, unless you've been living under the rock for the last 50 years, you know that Nike, the name, the brand, the company, is known for its market dominance, cultural symbolism, and unmatched storytelling. But in recent times, a lot has changed. Nike has stumbled big time. From an all-time high share price of $168 back in November 2021, the Nike share price has fallen to upper 70s. Now that's a stunning drop of 55%. And of course, the pundits are pointing fingers. The experts are questioning. People are saying that the company which defined victory, can it ever claw back? But remember, we are all smarter in hindsight. So if you're intrigued by what you heard so far, stick around till the end, because in this video, this story, we look at exactly why this global giant lost its stride, the reasons behind its fall, and more importantly, Nike's bold plan to rise again. Because I think their comeback is real. And if you're a Nike fan, you will believe it too. All this and more coming up. Hi there, and thank you for watching this video. If you love stories like me, help me by supporting this channel. Smash the like button, turn on the notifications, and do not forget to subscribe. Now, back to our story. To understand Nike's recent decline, we must first go back in time where the journey began and recount some iconic milestones. In 1964, Phil Knight and Bill Bowerman launched Blue Ribbon Sports, where they sold Japanese shoes out of the trunk of Phil's car. But by 1971, Nike was launched, adopting the iconic Swoosh. And here's a fun fact. They hired a student named Carolyn Davidson to design the iconic Swoosh logo and paid her $35. That's a great deal. Nike was not just a company, it was a bold move. Two men, limited resources, a lot of challenges, classic American dream material. In the 70s and 80s, Nike made a lot of bold moves. In 1979, they hired this former NASA engineer, Frank Rudy, who brought in air cushioning technology to sneakers. This was never done before. And in 1984, they signed up this unknown rookie basketball player. You must have heard of him. Michael Jordan, aka God of Basketball. And in 1985, Air Jordan 1 was released. Initially banned by NBA, but immortalized by the rebellious marketing of Nike. Exciting stuff. All of this is giving me goosebumps. In the 80s and 90s, Nike becomes a global icon. In the late 80s, they come up with the slogan, just do it. That's it. Just do it. So simple yet so powerful. I can't think of any other marketing slogan which comes close to just do it. What's the fuss? Just do it. Nike transcends sports. It's not just about running faster, it's about living large. Air Max, Air Force One, Air Jordans, the sneakers become cultural icons. Swoosh on Olympic podiums, on the streets of Africa, Paris, Tokyo, and Sao Paulo. For decades, Nike was untouchable. They always knew how to outmaneuver the competition. Their bold moves, the ability to take risks, and innovation always paid off. By November 2021, their stock price was as high as $168. But then cracks appeared. And by 2025, their stock price plunged by 55%. into the 70s. Now, to understand why and to get insights to what happened to Nike, we refer to the gurus and experts. Now, before we go to the experts, the gurus, the critics, do not forget to check out my story about another American industrial giant, where one man's simple strategy turned around the company and took it from $3 billion to $27 billion in value. And when he first took the helm, a lot of people thought that he's a hippie and will kill the company. Now back to insights about Nike from the experts.
Shares of Nike are in free fall after they missed on revenue last night and cut their full-year earnings guidance. The shares, down 20%, are on pace for their worst day ever.
The company blamed its performance on everything from macro challenges to remote employees. But experts say this was part of a years-long series of strategic errors.
When a $50 billion business sees a down 10% quarter, it's not an overnight occurrence.
Meanwhile, net sales of emerging competitors Hoka and On Running have both increased over 30% in recent quarters. Even established rivals like Adidas and Asics have seen growth while Nike has declined.
What makes Nike special? Well, that's, I think, part of the magic of the marketing. So much of retail is storytelling. Nike dominates, or historically has dominated, storytelling.
We came back from the impossible, from being broken.
And that storytelling resulted in strong sales. By 2016, Nike reported annual revenues of $32 billion. Nike co-founder and former chairman Phil Knight decided he wanted to shift the company's focus towards digital growth before he stepped down as chairman in 2016. In 2020, former Nike board member John Donahoe replaced Mark Parker as CEO of the company. Under Donahoe, Nike began moving towards a more direct-to-consumer model, or DTC, by pushing sales directly from its own platforms and stores. In September 2020, Nike reported digital sales growth of 82%, despite relatively flat revenue for the quarter compared to the previous year.
Because of COVID, we all went into lockdown and Nike digital online sales were booming. They were ahead of the game when it comes to retailers selling online because they were first at it and they did extremely well.
Encouraged by this success, Nike began officially limiting ties with retail partners like Dick's Sporting Goods and Foot Locker, and cutting others out altogether. This was a bold move. As of June 2021, these wholesale partners still accounted for around 61% of Nike's sales. But Donahoe seemed to double down on Nike's digital push. In an earnings call, Donahoe said the consumer is digitally grounded and simply will not revert back. What Nike thought was a sales boost from its new digital model may have just been fortunate timing as the world went into COVID lockdown and shopping went virtual. In 2021, as lockdowns lifted and consumers started to seek out in-store experiences, Nike's digital growth started stalling. Internally, the company was undergoing layoffs and cost-cutting measures that it said were focused on shifting resources and creating capacity to reinvest in our highest potential growth areas.
It does appear, according to analysts, that Nike over-rotated toward the direct-to-consumer. And then when it came back time for Americans and folks around the world to go shopping again after COVID, Nike just didn't have the same kind of priority and placement on the shelves, and it didn't have those styles that were really resonating with consumers.
Nike had also pulled back on developing its running business during a time when a record number of athletes joined the sport during COVID.
It had a big impact. Nike previously was really integrated into that running community and always speaking to that community, and that gives you authority and credibility in the category. They pulled back on that.
It became clear that Nike not firing on all cylinders on the innovation front was really when the problem started beginning. And it ceded market share to players, particularly in the running space, like On and Hoka.
Everybody wears these.
Yes, this is the Hoka Clifton 9. It is the hottest running shoe of the summer.
Tell me.
Inventory piled up as consumers started to pull back and turn to other brands.
The core problem at the end of the day is that the North American consumer started seeing Nike as being a little bit cheapened because there was such an excess of product. And this goes back to the idea of when you have too much, you become less interesting, you become less popular, you become less cool. If there's no line outside of a club, most people aren't walking in.
So there you have it, the inside story of what went wrong with Nike. And Nike's journey proves that even the boldest of disruptors can stumble. But also remember, I said that in hindsight, we're all smarter, especially the critics. So here's what I think. For decades, Nike has made some really bold moves. And all those risks have paid off, be it innovation, ambush marketing, or just brilliant storytelling. But this time around, they over-rotated. So here are my recommendations for Nike going forward, if they are interested, that is. Go directly to consumer, but do not disconnect the retailers. Nike is still a mass market brand, and your sales, more than 50%, is dependent on them. Also, most of your competitors like Adidas, Hoka, and On, they are taking shelf space there, so you want to be there competing in the true Nike spirit. Plus, studies have shown that DTC doesn't always work the way companies think, and not necessarily increasing revenues, margins, and other profit markers. A hybrid retail approach is the way forward. You want to be on every relevant platform where you can engage with the existing and potential customer. Combining the in-store, in-person, plus the digital experience is the future. And there are studies to back this up. Go back to the inspirational storytelling, because this is what made Nike stand out, putting the athlete in the center of your story, your marketing campaign.
You can't be demanding. You can't be relentless. You can't put yourself first. So, put yourself first. You can't be confident, so be confident. You can't challenge, so challenge.
Back in 1996, Nike outmaneuvered the competition by not sponsoring the Olympics, but by focusing on the athletes and creating events near the venues. And this marketing strategy paid dividends. In conclusion, I still think Nike's strategy was not completely wrong. Maybe their timing was a little off. Hey, we'll never know. What we do know is that Nike is not done yet. They've recently brought back an insider, Elliot Hill, who knows the company inside out and aims to take Nike back to its glory days. And at the end of the day, Nike is not just a business story, and it doesn't matter what I think or what the critics say. Nike is a true testament that American dream is possible and it's alive. From trunk of the car to global domination, from Air Jordans to just do it, Nike has shown us what risk, ambition, and belief can create. And now, the world is watching. Can Nike rise again? And its own words, will Nike just do it? I certainly hope so. I certainly believe so, and so shall you. Lastly, thanks for sticking around till the end. I hope you enjoyed the story. And if you did, smash the like button, turn on the notifications, and subscribe. And I will see you soon with other stories. As someone once said, the universe is made up of stories, not atoms.